Hey, hello there, and welcome to my Haru build guide for Persona 5 Royal. This is the 6th in a series of 8 guide videos I'm going to be making for Persona 5 Royal, where I'll be going over all party members' best equipment, Persona skill set, best way to use them, as well as discussing the best parties each party member fits into. Due to not wanting to be axed by Atlas, the footage you are seeing will be mostly from before the 3rd semester added into Royal. However, I will be showing off the 3rd Persona evolution for Haru and discussing the new skill that she gets from that, some of the skills from the Jazz Club that are only found in the 3rd semester, and there will also be some 3rd semester party spoilers shown, so viewer discretion is advised. I will also be talking about some items obtained from DLC personas, however I will provide non-DLC alternatives for relevant. Also, I'm assuming you have downloaded the Legacy DLC pack, because why would you not? With that out of the way, time to spin our way over to the builds. Now, starting with equipment, the best melee weapon for Haru is the Fleurs de Mal R, pardon my French, acquired from itemizing Beelzebub. The level 87 Devil Persona during an alarm. You do need to be max Confidant rank with the Devil Confidant in order to fuse Beelzebub, so keep that in mind. It provides the highest attack out of all of Haru's weapons, as well as having a high chance of Dizzy and increasing Haru's magic stat by 6. An excellent complement to both Haru's technical proccing capabilities with the Dizzy chance and her magical damage capabilities with the magic stat increase. Haru's best ranged weapon is the Yagrush EX, customized for maximum damage, which is acquired by itemizing Baal, the level 82 Emperor Persona during an alarm. It provides the highest attack out of all of Haru's ranged weapons, and has the additional effect of a high chance of shock, something that Haru is able to make full use of with her fantastic gun skills. Her best armor is the Serious Armor EX, which is acquired by itemizing the DLC persona Messiah during an alarm. It provides the highest defense out of all of the female armor types, and has the additional effect of reducing all magical damage dealt to the wielder by a high amount. Now, if you do not have the DLC, the best substitute is the lovely Witch's Robe, which is acquired by itemizing Sooty Dark Armor dropped by Skahak in the 3rd semester dungeon, which has the additional effect of increasing the wielder's magic stat by 8. Now, while this does have lower defense points in comparison to its closest competition, the High Archangel Bra, the plus 8 in magic is something Haru is going to appreciate, as it, along with her melee weapon, push Haru's magic stat to a level only surpassed by Arn, and making her magic hit for some really high numbers. Now for accessories, best accessory as usual, can you guess it? It's our good friend the Shiny Belt R, which is acquired by itemizing the DLC persona Izanagi no Okami during an alarm. It provides a passive 7 SP per turn, and plus 3 for all the wielder's stats. Passive SP regeneration and stat boosts are quite rare for party members besides Joker, so being able to read both of these in one accessory is incredibly valuable. It also supplements Haru's pretty nicely balanced stat spread, and leaning towards both gun and magical damage. Now if you don't have the DLC, the best substitute is the SP Adhesive 3, purchased from the Takemi Medical Clinic for 100,000 yen once you reach rank 5 in Takemi's Confidant. Other alternatives are the Scully Boy Crystal Skull R, acquired by itemizing the Crystal Skull Treasure persona found at the lower levels of Mementos after beating Shido's dungeon. This provides plus 6 in all stats and increases all evasion from magical attacks except Almighty. The Team Glasses and Seams Armband, which provide a 15% EXP boost and 50% money boost respectively, good for farming. The Arm PC, providing a plus 3 in all stats and a max SP boost of 20, basically a discount version of the Shiny Belt R. The Gauntlet, which increases evasions from criticals and magical attacks. And finally, the Kuzunoha Tubes, decreasing the cost of HP and SP skills by 25%. Another option of note that needs a little more discussion is the Ring of Pride, which is acquired by retrieving all the will seeds in Shido's palace and talking to Jose at a shop in Mementos after Shido's palace has been beaten. Now, Ring of Pride provides the wearer the skill Tyrant's Will, which, when equipped, is a variant of Charge, causing the next physical skill to deal over double the damage after using. Haru unfortunately cannot access Charge, as she does not learn it naturally, and the Jazz Club event to learn it takes place before she joins the party. Because of this, if you're inclined to boosting Haru's excellent gun skills further, or when we get into builds, one is a runner in a more gun-oriented form, this is an almost must-have option to make her damage on par with her compatriots. Now for the build. Haru actually draws a lot of similarities with her third-year counterpart, Makoto, with some relatively balanced stats, trading out some of the balance with a higher base strength and magic level when compared to Makoto, with lower end agility, endurance, and luck to compensate. She has the second highest base magic stat in the game, and the third highest strength stat. The rest of her stats land somewhere in the middle of the road. Her trait is Icy Glare, which increases all allies' chances of being inflicted by ailments by 25%. This is one of the weaker traits in the game, just straight up. However, ailments are rather common, and with the buff that technical got in this game, being able to avoid them by not getting hit by the ailments that cause them is at least worth a cursory mention. Now, let's lay some things out here. Haru is a rather unique case in this game, in that her kit is rather diverse in the ways that you can build her. She can either be built for full gun damage, full magic, or mixed, each of which has their own benefits and downsides. For my money, however, I typically prefer to run a balanced build, as while it sacrifices some defensive utility, Haru's nuke weakness isn't a particularly common element outside of the third semester, and even then it's only a very small portion of the demons in that dungeon. That aside, the balanced build is Ceodyne, Map Ceodyne, one-shot kill, concentrate, Psyamp and Psy boost, gun amp and gun boost. Jumping into these skills further, Ceodyne and Map Ceodyne are your typical elemental damage skills, and Haru's delicious purple flavor of Psy. A plus for Haru, however, is Psy is easily the strongest element in the game to have, on the merit of its technical proccing capabilities. Every single ailment in the game, with the exception of Burn, Shock, and Freeze, proc into a technical hit off of Psy without even reading the books, and with the massive buff to technicals in Royal, they now deal a whole lot more damage and cause a knockdown. This is a massive boon in Haru's favor. While it is disappointing that she does not have access to higher tier Psy skills, having even the heavy version is more than sufficient for the jobs that they do. The single target and AoE versions are both kept in this case in order to provide Haru with options of whether she knocks down a single enemy or multiple. If you don't really care for that and you just want to use it, I would recommend swapping out probably Ceodyne for Amrita Shower, just to give her a little bit more support, or Ceodyne for Evade Nuke if you're really worried about dodging nuke skills. Now, Psyamp and Psy Boost both basically serve to increase Haru's magical damage. Self-explanatory. One-shot kill is the best gun skill in the game, which deals a severe amount of gun damage to a singular foe with a high chance of critical. This is a fantastic skill to have on Haru, and will deal a pretty respectable amount of damage, due in part to Haru's rather high base strength stat and access to both gun amp and gun boost, which increases her gun damage. This is where that seed, Pride, one moment here, the Ring of Pride, my bad. This is where the Ring of Pride comes into play here, why you'd want to equip it, because this skill is really, really good, and her strength stat is actually really respectable. So if you're wanting to run a gun, or if you wanted to boost her gun damage, taking the Ring of Pride and giving her access to charge is going to really, really help out here. So... And finally, I have here is Concentrate, the tickable buff you would use before nuking down an enemy. Optionally, if this is a new game and you would prefer to give Concentrate to Makoto or someone else, you can keep Amrita's Shower on Haru to replace this instead. Now, I'm not going to list out the other options for Haru's build, as that would take quite a bit more time and a lot more rebuilding Haru. And I recommend you go for balance anyways, because I think it's much stronger. But to summarize the gun build, you would replace Seodai with Triple Down, which is a 3-hit gun attack that does light damage, 3 light hits. It's pretty useful. It kind of makes up a bit for the damage. One-shot kill still does more damage because it's severe, but the 3 hits do make it about equal with a heavy hit. And the high chance of critical, Triple Down doesn't have that, but because it hits 3 times, that's 3 times crit. It's pretty good skill. Pull Concentrate and replace that with Heat Riser. I actually forgot to mention that earlier, but Heat Riser is also another substitute for Seodine if you don't want to use it. Personally, again, it doesn't have as much value because it's single target, and usually when you're buffing, you want to be buffing your entire party instead of a singular person, so it's not quite as valuable, but it has uses. And then replace Psy Boost and Psy Amp with Amrita's Shower and Evade Nuke. If Amrita's Shower just gives her a little bit more supportive capabilities, cleansing all debuffs, all ailments, which, she decreases the chance of getting inflicted with them anyway, so it's slightly less valuable, but whatever. And Evade Nuke just, it's ridiculous. Now, the Psy build would similarly replace One-Shot Kill with Heat Riser. It'd pull Gun Amp and Gun Boost for Amrita's Shower and Heat Riser, I think. I forget what the other move is. Oh well. Regardless. Now for the third semester balance build, Haru's persona will evolve into Lucy, earning 1 new major skill. Her trait will upgrade into Cool Customer, decreasing the ally's ailment chance down to 50% from 25%. Quite enough nice buff for this trait, as it drastically lowers the chance of your allies getting ailments on them and subsequently getting technicaled. However, still not the best trait. The build stands practically identical except for the introduction of Life Wall, a 95 SP cost move which forms a barrier which reflects all attacks for all allies. A rather nice skill to have that, while not essential or as game-changing as perhaps other party members' third semester skills, having what is essentially a low nope button to save your entire party can very much come in handy in a pinch, warranting its placement in a skill set. Replace Seodine for it, as AoE technical bumps are a little more useful than single target ones. For party comps, we once more come down to a very similar case as Makoto, where Haru can actually be placed in any party with their balanced build, and work exceptionally well. For specific mentions, however, if you are wanting to capitalize on her magical damage, An, Haru, and Makoto creates the strongest magical party in the game. An's AoE Concentrate will greatly buff all the damage the party can output, and Makoto's defensive and healing capabilities will combine with Haru's ailment cleansing / prevention capabilities, creating an exceptionally bulky and magical nuke every team. Akechi, Haru, and Sumire makes her a very powerful crit damage team, with Sumire's Brave Step buffing all the party's crit chance, and with Haru's one-shot kill already having a high chance, Sumire's Masquerade hitting twice, and Akechi's power to nuke down downed enemies creates a very powerful crit team. You can also substitute in Akechi for Ryuji, sacrificing some knockdown damage in exchange for the AoE charge, something neither Sumire or Haru can acquire naturally. Haru also slots in quite well into the primary physical party, with Ryuji and Yusuke replacing Makoto, exchanging in some utility for more damage. Haru is one of the weirder party members in Persona 5 Royal. Her ability to basically mold into any role makes her the most versatile party member in the game, but also kinda makes it difficult to really rank her well due to the massive variations in the way you can build her. On the whole, she's very powerful, and in my opinion, rather underrated, as though she may not have quite as strong nuking capabilities as someone like Anne or Ryuji, nor having the supportive/healing capabilities of Makoto and Morgana. The fact she is able to fill in so many roles makes her a very valuable unit to have around. It's just unfortunate that she does come along so late into the game, where it is likely most players have set in who they want to use, and where it is unlikely most will max her out before the 3rd semester, at least on a new game. I cannot recommend her enough to try out, as I think she only gets stronger in the endgame and deserves a whole lot more love. And it's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Next video on this series is gonna be a bit different.
My demons are a bit different!
Double feature of sorts of both the second Detective Prince Krechi and the gymnast Marie Kasumi. So I hope to see you then. Peace.